Hello and welcome. My name is Adam Parker here with Carnegie, and I'm excited to welcome Andy Pondillo at LinkedIn to the stage. Andy is going to be speaking to us with a very important topic: how we can reuse and recycle video content at your institutions. As there are many content creators across marketing in attendance, we know this is the importance of leveraging our assets to their full capability. If you attended any of our sessions, I want to share a few quick reminders. This session is being recorded and will be distributed after. I encourage you to be social throughout this presentation. You will notice there is a chat and Q&A functionality at the right-hand side of your screen. I encourage you to use it. There'll be a few opportunities throughout the presentation to get those questions addressed. Obviously, we are limited in time here, so if any questions or comments arise after this presentation, please feel free to reach out to us here at Carnegie or directly with Andy at LinkedIn to ensure those questions get addressed. With that, I'm excited to pass the video feed over to Andy to dive in.
Well, hello, everyone. Excited to be with you here today and talk about my favorite topic, and that's video. So let's kick right into it. As Adam mentioned, we're going to be discussing how to reuse and recycle video. So what exactly does that mean? So I have been in the shoes of working in platform for several years before I moved to LinkedIn. So my background is a lot in the agency world, also heavily in the agency world revolving around EDU, ed tech, and everything in that sphere. So one of the big questions that would always come up when we try to do a video strategy is, do we have the resourcing? Do we have the money? Do we have the time to put together video strategy? What I'm here to do today is bring to you a strategy that can take a lot of either the messaging you already have, the video you already have, video you might be running on other channels such as television, YouTube, instructional videos that you have for your students or prospective students. How do we piece these together in a world that makes sense for LinkedIn and can drive both that brand to demand for your institution? So again, introduction on me. I originally come from Houston, Texas. That's where I'm photoed right there. I love my hashtags. I love social media. I've done a little bit of everything since the beginning of it in the early 2010s. So very much the social media OG, working into the EDU space, now working at LinkedIn, where I'm a senior content solutions consultant, which I consult a handful of clients on creative content, LinkedInifying your assets and making them work in our world, both from the paid and organic side. I do still have a very strong focus with EDU clients. So the examples and suggestions you're going to see today come from high-ranking videos that we see on our side. So everything you see that's pulled was pulled for a very specific reason, because it's one of our top engagers, top lead gen, top conversion getters, whatever that may be. So what we'll cover today is why video, what's working in video, how to recycle and reuse video, and then we'll build an action plan at the end. You'll see a poll on the side right now. And while you're watching, I'd love to get an answer on your poll, on the poll, and how you're currently using LinkedIn, because that's something when we get to a Q&A at the end of this presentation that will kind of help guide me on to the best video suggestions, because there's no, usually when I work with clients, there's no exact way that somebody's using LinkedIn. They might use it for organic, they might use it for lead gen, they might use a combination of both. So I encourage you to hit up that poll, and that'll help me as we move forward with some of the answers to the questions.
Yeah, as folks are pouring over the poll, looks like roughly 40% are all of the above. 40% of our audience is in that organic space, 20% in brand, and the remaining percentage is in that lead gen, brand and lead gen space.
So pretty even split. So that means we got lots to cover today to go over all the different categories when it comes to LinkedIn. So let's start off with live video. So, one of the largest questions we have here is, why should I be running video on this channel? So there's a multitude of reasons, but I want to start with the human reason first. Before we get into those X's and O's, we always have to remember, what is a timeline for somebody getting into an institution? So first thing you're going to say is, hey, Andy, not all of these are exactly the same. You know, our degrees that we advertise for can range from, you know, something that is a large lifetime investment to something that might be like a one-year certificate program. So take this timeline right here and modify it as you see fit. So 3 to 5 years for a prospective student. Is this the right time to enroll? 2 years, what schools have the area of focus I want? What schools have the area of focus I want at 1 year? What do they have to say about the faculty and professors? Do I need to move? Do I need to move? You see that coming up multiple times. These are all questions that we ask as we finesse all the way down to our 6-month choice right here. What happens if I don't get accepted to my top choice? Do I have others? Why should I choose one school over another? How does this program help me in the long run? And so what we're trying to do with a lot of our content, we talk about brand to demand a lot at LinkedIn, but we're really thinking within our video content, what are the human answers that we're giving to these questions, and modify those as you see fit, you know, based on your program. But I think it's a great practice to think about video content that exists on this left side. That's usually that brand content that you see on commercials, that you see more just broadly to wide audiences. And then on this right side is what we see for a lot of our lead gen, you know, joining for different webinars, ebook downloads, talk to admissions, whatever that may be. Answering these questions through video content, it's a natural way to do it when we think about social media. And I often tell everybody to just blast through your phone at any given time on social media. So this is the typical way that we think about engaging. So I always hope that somebody's reading my content. I hope that people are clicking my link. But I ideally know that the typical user is likely to be rage swiping, and we're always fighting for that attention. So we're trying to build up a long form strategy with video to assist getting your frequency up. Again, I will connect this with X's and O's in platform and why this makes sense. But think about the research here. Our research shows that an average conversion off of LinkedIn takes 25 different interactions. So an interaction could be you're running a campaign with 4 different videos, and a user's seen 3 of these videos and they've seen them 2 times each. So that's 6 interactions now. So just think about that though. Think about popular brands, how many times you see their commercials, you see their display ads, you see their ads on social media. So no different that we have to ramp up frequency. An average of 25 times needs to take place on brand to demand. There might be a user out there it takes 3. There might be a user out there they take 36. No user is exactly alike. So when we think video strategy and why video, we're trying to utilize that space to be able to facilitate a multitude of these users and where they're at in their decision-making process. Now, very important number right here. When I worked at the agency level, I used to pitch video all the time. The reason I liked it was for retargeting purposes more than anything, but I also thought it stopped scroll. I would really fight for it, and a lot of times was, do we have the budget, time, everything that needs to be in place to run a video campaign? But if I had this number right here on the left, I would have been able to fight a lot harder, in my opinion, a few years ago. So this is a number that came out at the end of 2022 with some research we did with our EDU Insights team. 2 times more likely to enroll when seeing a video on LinkedIn versus static content. So what does that mean? That means a user who watched a video from any particular program and watched it for any duration of time, 3 seconds, 15 seconds, 20 seconds, whatever that may be, they're twice as likely to enroll in that program further on down the line. The way this was tracked by if they put that school in their LinkedIn profile saying that they enrolled. So this isn't a last click attribution. This isn't a watch a video, click the link, go to the website, enroll. This is more of a long funnel play right right here that got somebody to mark that they're enrolled into that school. So this is a pivotal number, in my opinion. The second number we see here on LinkedIn Live, plus 15% more likely to enroll, I would say this is extra credit. LinkedIn Live is a pretty cool tool. It's interactive, it's live, it's fun, it's one-to-one. Plus 15% when somebody watches more than 10 minutes of a LinkedIn Live from the same school. My kind of take on that number is, if I can hold anybody in 2023's version of social media for 10 minutes on one thing, I'm doing an excellent job at whatever I'm putting together on social media. So that, to me, is self-explanatory, because you're able to hold somebody for a while. So if you went down that road, this is extra credit. The left side, I would say, is a pivotal number. If you're not running video, it's likely your direct competitor is, and they're going to have that leg up pretty easily just simply by doing it. So again, how I always saw video as somebody working in the platform is, not only is it a cool brand tool, not only is it human to human, but it also makes sense with demand gen initiatives, because I can expedite my retargeting pools by utilizing video. So what I typically do is I run your brand video, I can match messaging, I could even put video in demand, and I can retarget off both of these and finesse people through a funnel that didn't even click. The argument we always try to, fight in some marketing rooms is, what is intent? Like what signals intent from a user on social media? So my perspective is, if somebody watches 30 seconds, 40 seconds of a video, I feel like that's really heavy intent. Think about the last time you stopped on social media and spent time on something like that that's an ad, to watch it all the way through, to hold somebody. It shows that somebody's pretty interested, and I think you're coming to them at their time versus them having to go to a website and, assuming they have the time to go through everything right now. Just simply getting somebody to watch, retarget them, qualify them, it'll expedite your demand efforts and essentially start a qualification process for your next layer of marketing. With LinkedIn, you have the ability to retarget these users at 25, 50, 75, or 97% video views. I strongly recommend building this strategy. Simply right here, this is an example of a chart of just a typical spend level you would see on LinkedIn. So I'm going to average a $20,000 spend off of a brand campaign or a demand campaign that we're looking to later retarget. We could assume that if we put $20,000 against this campaign, that we might get, let's say, an average of $6.50 per click. That's a good kind of roundabout number. That would get you 3,078 maximum people to retarget off of that effort. So let's redo this, and let's say we're running video content and we're giving the ability to click. So you might still get those clicks depending on the objective, but you could also get a lot of views, and you could even get views at a lower cost than this by using the video views objective. But we're just going to do this for example's sake right here. So let's say you got a 50 cents cost per view. Now you have 40,000 people to retarget, $1 cost per view at the 25% marker, 20,000, so on, so on, so on. So we're seeing quickly right here that just at a simple 50% view rate, if we're looking to get those qualified views, that already doubles the audience you could bring in. If you're trying to go more broad, going big brand, school, lots of programs, and then we'll narrow it later on, you could allow yourself within the platform to take these 40,000 users from your brand video and then cipher them based on what type of program, seniority level, what they might be interested in, job titles, and you can do a split that way. So there's a lot of ways to go about this. This is a brand to enrollment campaign setup guidance I've made for utilizing video tactics. There is no 100% right or wrong way to do this. Media buying, media strategy, I consider it an art. And if there was an exact book on it, there wouldn't be people that really specialize in this, people who have a great background and expertise and philosophy for getting people through the funnel. This is the way I like to think about it, but you can change things here and there. I will say, as we pitch video today, if you're not running it currently or you're looking how to get started, there will be someone out there within your competitive set that is running something high level like this. But when I say high level, I do believe that we today will look at the creative resources that will be able to get you there. So this section is very, very important as we go through this today. This is going to be kind of your take home and your homework to do as a marketing team. So let's look at top creative video ad findings for marketers. What this is VidMob Research, one of our partners. We partnered with them last year to get some fresh new research on videos. Same thing again, if I had this years ago, I would have really loved this and leveraged this with a lot of different partners. What they did is they wanted to look at LinkedIn video and figure out what's working best in awareness, consideration, conversion-based initiatives, what users are most likely to engage with, what types of text, what types of CTAs. So there's a lot to take in right now. I wouldn't expect anybody to memorize this off the top of their head, so this is a good take home. First, we're going to talk about what's working for the breakdown of funnel and awareness. And what I'm going to do is these are going to be vertical agnostic statistics. This report was done, but we are going to relate this to EDU later in the presentation. So looking at awareness right here, plus 149% lift in view through, 25% when displaying messaging in the opening quarter. So what that means is getting a 25% view through off of your video. Someone watches 1/4 of it, 149% lift when somebody is putting a message or CTA right at the beginning. I think of modern video tools, and that's one of the easiest things we can do today. A big question that I get, how long should my videos be? Lift in engagement rates with a 7 to 15 second video duration, 102% lift in view through, 25% with high text contrast that goes into your text again, showing a person in the opening quarter. We think about B-roll videos we have right now. There's people that we can show in a lot of our videos. How do we piece that together to fit this? And a plus 98% lift in view through rate with a CTA in the first 6 seconds. So basically what we're seeing in awareness is short form video is really in right now on LinkedIn, like it is across most of the social media channels that are out there. That 7 to 15 hit spot that you're trying to get to, you're trying to be quick, you're trying to be engaging, you're going to be actionable. You're kind of going to set the table. Think of it as almost like a movie trailer. You know, the new movie's coming out, it's going to be out in a year and 3 months. So you're probably not buying tickets off this, but you are watching it, you are gauging interest, you are learning something, and there is an actionable place for someone to go, potentially on the website, to get more out of it. So consideration, we start to put a little bit more meat and potatoes on the dinner plates here. So right now we see plus 39% lift in completion rate with opening data, with data or stats. So I know you EDU marketers out there, you have a lot of statistics. There's no need to reinvent the wheel. Take your best statistics and make them work for you in video. It's a great way to use long form content. There's nothing more difficult on social media than when there's a bunch of stats, a bunch of great copy, but all of it's in the description and somebody has to hit see more and they can't really see what you're putting out there. Video provides a very natural place for those numbers and selling points within your consideration funnel. Big thing you'll see right here. We talked about 7 to 15 seconds before. Consideration, now you get a little bit more leg room. 6 to 30 second video duration, plus 15% lift in click-through rate. Plus 15% lift in click-through rate when using high color or contrast. 6% lift in video completion rate when featuring a human presence. We're going to keep seeing human on here. People like to see humans on ads, and humans can be a lot of different things. It can be B-roll, it can be animation, just kind of giving it that one-to-one approach. And the most, I don't know if I should say shocking, but surprising analytic that I saw from this report, plus 100% lift in click-through rate when using expert or leader in the opening frames. So become an expert in this, become a leader in that. We think of how that works with like an MBA program, a certificate, a leader in nursing. There's a lot of different ways to use that terminology. Maybe you don't use that exact word, but it's that active language that people are using right there. Now looking at these, a plus 74% lift in video completion rate when using a city or local setting, and then 33% lift in click-through rate when the offer includes get a quote. So I don't know if we would use get a quote very much when it comes to EDU. This one's going to be a little bit more B2B specific, but I think there's a similar way we could phrase this up. It could be, get more info, talk to admissions, learn about our rates, whatever, something similar. It's just, think about these suggestions is very active one-to-one language. Think through that journalistic aspect. And then finally, we'll talk about the conversion funnel. This is going to be your final, play to try to get somebody to become a lead, to convert, to go to the website, to fill out a form. So this is where the most of your juice is going to be at when you're trying to get somebody to either enroll or apply. Plus 17% click-through rate when featuring a brand logo in the opening 2 seconds, that muscle memory of somebody seeing your logo. Notice again, the time goes up. Once we get further down the funnel, we're assuming they've now known your school as an established brand. So plus 13% lift in click-through rate with a 15 to 30 second duration, 72% click-through rate when using text overlays, 3% click-through rate when using a single person instead of a crowd, that one-to-one again, plus 12% lift in click-through rate when using sign up. So we're going for something more direct down funnel, such again as an apply now or an enrollment. So we look at how all this lays out. Definitely screenshot, save this slide right here, because this would be a great one to take home with us. It showcases the timeframes from awareness to consideration to conversion. What I would definitely recommend when you look right here is you don't see 60 seconds, 2 minutes, 3 minutes anywhere. So as we move to the next section, we're going to look at examples of how we're seeing videos from other platforms being cut down into LinkedIn. And we really want to get it under that 30-second marker. So I think that's something good for us as creatives to figure out how we're getting to that point. And also, we see a lot in here about what's needed in those first few seconds. It's a lot of reverse engineering. A lot of old school commercials are build up, logo, CTA at the end. Where here we're looking to establish both brand, active language, meat and potatoes right out of the gate in these videos. So it kind of reverses what we would do in a traditional sense. But the good thing is if you have those traditional style videos, our next section is going to review how to modify those into our LinkedIn world. But right now, I'm going to take a quick pause, Adam, to see if there's any questions on the data that was just shown there, and then we're going to start to action it from here.
I know I was taking notes during. That was amazing to see all those stats and share. I haven't seen any Q&A or chat come through yet. But as we continue, if there are folks, I do encourage you to ask questions, because I was amazed at all that awesome content that was just shared. So
perfect. And actually that video, those video stats, there's actually an hour-long session that some of the partners in my department put that together into a much more full-fledged just video session based on the data. So that's like your powered through version of it. So I really recommend going back and looking at it. It's a great take home.
One question, Andy, that Heather asked, were some of those stats related to organic video posts, or was that more paid and sponsored video ads?
Those are all sponsored. So what I would say though is if you are operating organic or if you're doing a blend of organic to paid, I think the principles are pretty similar, because what I try to do when I run organic, organic is honestly where my heart's set from the beginning of social media. I remember the first time I boosted a post for $100 and I was sweating back in 2014. I try to make my content that is organic something that could live in paid. I try to make my content paid something that could live in organic, so I could fluctuate them back and forth. So I would get used to trying to do the 15 to 30-second styles on organic. And I would get used to trying to lead with brand, question, human, those different strategies on there, because those will help you go back and forth. And if people are following your page that may have already engaged with sponsored content and they're kind of just scoping you out now as to seeing if they're really interested in becoming a lead or enrolling in the school, that consistency across both will help you quite a bit.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that.
I'm just opening the door to let a cat out right now. It's either we close the cats out or they scratch the door down. So I have to choose which one I do every day. So we will start off with how to source video from existing content on the recycle and reuse portion here. So what do I mean by that? So I touched on this really briefly earlier, and a lot of times I will work with EDU clients and they will tell me they're struggling to find content. And the first thing I ask is, let's look at their website. Is there content that works on their website that would transfer very well to LinkedIn? So when we start talking about content and video, it's both important to have that video asset, but it's really also very important to figure out what is the objective? What types of CTAs are we taking? What stats are we using? So I look at ASU's website right here. This is, a typical type of landing page you're going to see across a lot of different programs, respected online degrees. How does it work? Number one in this, number one in that, faculty excellence, bringing the future, request information. Okay, there's a lot here. I see content folks all the time trying to either take something like that or they're trying to reinvent content or trying to put a lot in the description. What I want to show is how you condense this in a copy-friendly way to work on a brand video. So as we watch this through ASU, graduation and beyond, 200 plus programs, we see the branding in the top left, some very nice animation, empower your success, personalized support. I watch these in mute on purpose, these style of videos, because 80% of our users will be watching in mute, at least when they first start up a video. So what they do here is you're distilling down a lot of copy that would probably be too much copy for your description, but we're putting this in a place where we know users are going to be focusing their eyes, and we're introducing them to concepts for ASU. And it comes from a lot of copy that is very similar to what they're going to see on their landing page over here. Another example for Grammarly, so moving into more of the ed tech space, you're seeing a lot of product usage on here, speeding up, engaging with customers. So it's very product focused. It's talking to helping your team, designed for teams. You're going to see all of these different items on this page. You're going to see statistics. You're going to see a lot of how we can help you. So when I go to this video ad, again, we're seeing long form copy being used here. We're seeing brand established. We're seeing a human side. We're seeing the product being used by the human. And we're seeing advanced AI shows overall writing improvement. Every employee can make the right impression every time. Learn more. It's very simple. I know exactly what this product is in just this short video. A lot of quick frames right here. So both of these examples, you may look at it and say, hey, it's apples to what I do. Or you may say that, hey, this is a little bit different than our program. Don't get as stuck on these examples of the program needing to be exactly what you're trying to market. Look at the technique that they're using. The examples I'm picking are strategic in that I want them to be something to where, hey, you could turn an MBA program into a nursing program. You could turn an MBA program into an EMBA program, just with finessing some of the look and feel, but look at the style of how these are used. Going back to ASU right here, this is another style, military tuition savings, 50 plus online programs. Very simple, straight to the point, directed at a military audience. So I think about this, you could have a very specific audience now. You're trying to get a little bit further down funnel, address them right out of the gate. This type of shot mixes a standard graduation shot, which most of us have in some sort of B-roll somewhere, with copy suggestions that are coming likely straight from your website, and it marries them together in a much more natural social media fashion versus kind of putting that up in the description and not having a lot of context in the video. Another example here from Purdue Global is utilizing a commercial, which we're going to get a little bit more into as we work through. Simple, very short cut right here, about as short gets when it comes to video. B, an online skill building machine. It's human. It goes straight to brand. Persistence pays off. Choose from 175 plus online programs. So we hit a lot of just key selling points right away. We're making it easy on the user to digest. So I know we all have this copy. Where do you put it? That's the large question. This one doesn't apply to as much of the copy from website. I honestly just put this on here. I put this on here yesterday just because I thought it was cool. But I wanted to show that video sometimes has this aura about it. Video could be as simple as this, and it could be something that ASU uses to strategically retarget. So if you have some static images that are just, simplistic, human, fun, active images of students, and you want to market, you can add some movement to these very easily by doing one of these GIF styles, working with some motion, whatever that may be. If you do have that resourcing available, these are great examples to show your creatives in-house or your partners, maybe it's creative agency partners, hey, could we do something similar to this? And that could get you in the video game really, really quickly. So your cheat sheet here, you're looking for fresh ideas on content. You're looking to start a video strategy. Where would you go for it? Just, pretty self-explanatory, saved right here. Great way to just start thinking about where and how you would use copy to direct a video strategy. So now we're going to move on to reusing videos from other places in a LinkedIn way, which is one of my favorite topics. My history goes from working in broadcast journalism to marketing to where I am now. So I love the idea of how we blend stuff together. And, what we're fighting once again is let's burn it all down and start over. New video, new campaign group, new campaign, new budget, new all these things. We want to eliminate the word net or the phrase net new today. So our techniques we're going to go through is we're going to go look at these examples. We're going to compare them against those VidMob statistics that we put out here. And we're going to see if maybe you can pull something from these that could be, helpful to you in your journey when it comes to video creation. Again, we know that no scenario is exactly unique. And there's a lot of rules we put out here today. Hey, you do a great video and it's 16 seconds, or you have this great video that was a minute long and you chopped it down to 31. No, you're not going to get penalized that roughly for just being slightly off. But what we're trying to get is close to best practice. We're trying to make sure it's easily understood with the messaging you're using. We want this to be quick. We want this to help build your funnel. And most of all, if you have these assets living on television, connected TV, YouTube, or even B-roll somewhere, we want to show how you can start sourcing today and build an action plan for video that could be a couple months from now, a couple weeks from now, versus 6 months from now where you're waiting for like a whole new budget. So some best in class. What I'm going to do in this practice is we're going to look at conventional TV commercials that we see from different education institutions, and then we're going to show how similar or the same shots are used in a LinkedIn fashion.
Yeah, that's management program.
So I am going to skip around on some of these because some of these are long form videos, and I am going to signal most of them into mute. I think us working in the EDU space, we kind of get the gist of where most of these commercials are headed. So this commercial right here on your left side for Harvard Business School, this is using a combination of school shots. It's using in the classroom shots. We're utilizing shots from a Zoom call or somebody recording on their personal computers. We're mixing it together. It's a well done, professionally shot video. What I like about these videos is, sure, 3 minutes and 42 seconds is going to be pretty long for what we would want on LinkedIn, but it gives you a ton to work with and a ton to mix and match with once we take it to LinkedIn. So again, standard, but think about what do you have in your bank right now when it comes to video, and do you have similar things to this? So let's now go over to the LinkedIn ad and see how this could be converted.
The general management program has a profound impact on participants. We want to change the way they think, the way they feel, and the way they act.
It's strategy, it's innovation, it's leadership, it's negotiation.
We bring state-of-the-art content into the classroom.
I expected great professors, but they're the best professors I've had. And now I feel much more confident to lead my company into the change.
You see what's coming out is really what you wanted to transform to a real business leader.
It has changed my life.
So right there, we're right at 40 seconds. So that 342 went down to 40. But I think even if I were advising Harvard, I think they could turn this into some even shorter cuts and make multiple versions of cuts just off this video right here. But notice how well this is done with standard B-roll that came from this left side to this side. You can understand what's happening in mute with watching the captions right here. You have multiple classroom shots. They marry them with some singular shots of people talking. So a lot of times you probably see data out there that says stay away from a lot of the talking head videos. But this is a way where you can mix some of those quick shots, action, brand right in the beginning. You got your classroom or your campus shot here right at the beginning. You have Harvard at the beginning of the end. I know exactly who this is and what they're going for with this ad very quickly. Another example I want to take here from Harvard Medical School.
The range of systems and approaches that can be used to deliver therapeutics is expanding rapidly, with advances that are helping to improve patient experience and outcomes. The introduction of new materials and technologies has enabled safer and more effective disease treatment and prevention. And the future holds promise for further innovation. As drug delivery evolves, it's vital for professionals in healthcare and related fields to understand current and emerging approaches that can have a major impact on patients' lives.
So this is a course explainer right here. So, you know, what I hear a lot of times in EDUs, we have a new course. It's a little niche. We're trying to get more education about it. They take an animated course explainer and made it LinkedIn friendly right here. And it, you know, appeals to somebody that could potentially be in this medical field looking to explore something new with this course. So it shows both an animated side it shows the side of scientists working on different projects. And then at the end, it has a learn more about this course. So it creates action. But look again, it's branding itself very early with that HMX here at the bottom. So this was kind of a new one I've seen. I haven't seen too many in this style. This was one that I've added to my deck kind of recently. So my thought is if you did have those course explainers laying around somewhere, you know, maybe admissions is showing them, maybe they're lost on a YouTube channel on a private link somewhere, maybe they're long form and need to cut them down. Thought this would be a good template for some other programs to use. So now we're going to look at Pluralsight, which is more in the EdTech space. We're going to scroll through this just a little bit here. So you're going to see the office shots. You're going to see high production. You're going to see a product being used right here. So we're showcasing what the product does. How does it work? It addresses different teams, how Pluralsight can upscale different teams and get them, you know, over the hump of that project. They can learn new things. Lots of things in this video. It's a very nice produced video. Once we take it to the LinkedIn side, we get this.
Experience designed specifically to help you skill up faster. There are no limitations to what you can explore. Start building better skills today with Pluralsight.
So on this, you're seeing a lot of the product shots. You're seeing the human shots. Right away, skills, question mark, computer, human. All those things that we talked about, you know, earlier as to what makes a great video, this comes out in 1 second. So let's go through this again real quick. Human, skills, right out of the gate. And then here at the 2 second mark, we have brand, Pluralsight, and a product shown. So again, this may not be apples to apples for you, but just stop and look at this technique and think about the shots you might already have, because they show in a couple of seconds how they could repurpose some of those shots from a long form video to interact very nicely in this LinkedIn short form world.
Conquer the CPA.
So for our animators in the house right here, you're going to see a lot of heavy animation on this Becker video, a lot of content. So building confidence from day one, you're going to see numbers right here, 7,000 multiple choice questions, 400 task-based simulations. Basically, it's a great explainer. It's animated. And when we talk about human, this is still very human right here. It's animated human, but it's human. So it's showing a user and what exactly they're getting when they use Becker. And that's, you know, some sort of online course where somebody's sitting in front of the computer doing it, 2,900 organizations. So it's a good, nice animated ad right here. So let's see how they break this down. So this is a nice 15-seconder right here, brand right at the beginning again, introducing 3 new CPE subscriptions. So right out of the gate at 2 seconds, we're giving an action as to what this is introducing. And now Becker has the ability to use this long form structure of content, every need, every schedule, every lifestyle. Just look how much more aesthetically pleasing this is right here versus when it's in the description and you kind of have to scroll and read. It kind of just shows it to you very naturally right in front of you. And as it works its way through, it's a pretty simple animation. And I want to really focus on simple here because there aren't, you know, any Disney productions. There's no Pixar happening here. It's nice. It's easy. It gets you straight to the point. It's something that's actionable today.
The flexibility that Walden offered me was so important, and it was vital to my ability to still pursue my career while pursuing my doctorate through Walden.
So simply with this one on Walden, this is already a 15-second ad. It was already short form. All I'm trying to really show here is there's a lot of tools that do this now. It's perfectly okay to turn your video from having this landscape production to vertical production and putting this into LinkedIn. When you do put it in as a vertical ratio, it's going to only appear on mobile devices. So if you're looking to build a campaign out, sometimes it makes sense to do a landscape, a vertical, and a 1x1. A 1x1 or square that will be both vertical and desktop. So just another idea right here. If you do have some content already, but you're trying to get reach out there, and remember, all those 25 times we're trying to hit somebody, if you do make a mobile specific creative like this, what a user might see is they might see the one on the right when they're on their phone, and then within the same campaign, they could see the one on the left where they're on a desktop, and now they click learn more, apply, whatever that may be. But it just arms you with the ability to get out in front of people more frequently, ramp up that frequency, ramp up that retargeting pool, and get the most bang for your buck. So vertical video is definitely in at LinkedIn. People often ask me, should I do vertical? Should I do landscape? Should I do one-to-one? My answer is yes, yes, yes. I would do all of them. If possible, when you're making video cuts before you launch the campaign. But if I had to choose one, I'd probably choose the square, the one-to-ones. But if you have the ability to do multiple to get, really mobile friendly here, definitely take advantage of that.
Take a look inside Quantic. Collective Mobile First Business School. Quantic's award-winning curriculum uses a revolutionary method of instruction that's more interesting.
Okay, so we're going to go through Quantic right here. This is another product-y type video. So it's explaining that, hey, global network. I know that we do work with a lot of schools to have that type of global reach. There's statistics on here. There's showing the platform. You'll notice a lot of these top performers for our online global schools out there, they really highlight showing their platform. And I think that's really, really important because it creates the Jedi mind trick to the user of what this is, assuming that they're not reading or listening. If they can just see what it is, that this is an MBA online platform, I think that kind of really drives it home. You're going to see a lot of different people waving here. So it's really showcasing the online application of their school. So now let's break this down to a short form. So you're seeing a lot of the same shots here. You're seeing that worldwide shot with all the dots on there. You're seeing branding everywhere from Quantic. Notice how they're using their colors through this entire commercial right here. So you're seeing the brand here before 1 second hits. It's showcasing the brand within a phone. So it's showing the app, a top tier MBA on an app. That may not be your CTA or your calling card, but think about what could be yours up here. That could be something that somebody's searching for. So they could be looking for MBA programs on an app, or MBA programs, digital friendly, mobile friendly. I'm not sure. I'm just making things up right now, but think about what people are searching for your school, and you should have that data. And you could also combine this with what you're bidding on in search and utilize that as a CTA, a question, something out front that can be very actionable while showing your program and utilizing those shots that make the most sense to you. So to conclude what we have for today, we're going to go over a short video action plan. And, let's start with planning a commercial, planning animation, planning anything of video right now. So what I would inspire you to do right now, if something was captivating to you, you're ready to do this, you want to get this into your 2023, 2024 plans, learn, educate, adapt. The most important thing I can say is get in front of video production. So if you know that there will be video production down the road. You know, maybe another department has some of these classroom shots that could be useful to you. You know, whatever that could be, how are you getting ahead of this production? How are you kind of flagging it? How are you strategically deciphering it across teams? If you can get in front of it right now, it saves you from having to reverse engineer a lot of things later. There are tools out there. We're all learning a little bit about AI right now, of course, but there are some tools out there that I've been dabbling with where I do take long form landscape video and it's putting it in vertical and 1x1s automatically for me, and it's captioning it for me. So it's easier than ever to do this right now. So I would say just try to get ahead as much as you can. Equip editors with best practices to social media video. So whoever is editing or putting these together, you know, make sure they see that VidMob research, 30 seconds and under, 7 to 15 seconds for brand. You could take one long video and potentially make 3-4 cuts of it and have 3-4 evergreen assets that run for you. And then save videos that stop the scroll routinely for inspiration. I provided some today, of course, but as you start to look through these videos, start looking through them in that lens as to what's stopping your scroll. I know that you're probably like me, and in the EDU world, I get targeted and retargeted all the time. So look at what you're getting targeted with and see if those ideas are following this best practice we went through today, and you could utilize those tips and tricks for your own success. And then a final recap on here, you have your action plan, but just a final recap of video as a whole. Remember, video creation can enhance your demand while building brand. Don't necessarily have to think of these as two different worlds. On LinkedIn, they can live as one. Remember connecting them with retargeting. Embrace those best practices in our short form world. Short form does work on LinkedIn. It is something that's growing on our channel, so don't be hesitant to give it a whirl. And then recycle and reuse successful content across video channels to live in our LinkedIn world. You can say no to net new to get started today, or you can get ahead of video production and your action plan for tomorrow. So I think you can go both ways with this. And then thank you for having me. We do have some time for Q&A, so I'd be happy to sit around and answer some questions, and hopeful that this was something actionable for you to take to your marketing team right now and see if you can make some stuff happen in the video sphere.
Andy, that was so great to show how the sausage was made and really breaking long form content into small incremental short form content and kind of talk through what is successful on LinkedIn. So sincerely appreciate that. There are a few questions that our audience kind of wanted to ask. Obviously in higher ed, we are all known for having very robust teams that have all the time in the world. I'm joking. There are many small teams and many folks doing it in-house that are just looking for a place to start. And some folks want to learn like video editing so they can kind of break some of these longer form institutional videos, maybe down into programmatic specific videos. Do you have any advice on potentially like software to look into for video editing, or areas they should check out there to get started?
All right. If you're like a hardcore creative, you know, someone that, you know, is deep into it, you're going to want to like plug your ears real quick. But Canva for video is actually really good for this stuff. Some of these videos that I come across that are highly ranked, sometimes they are actually being done on Canva, which, you know, if you're doing like big video production, I probably wouldn't recommend that. But if you want to go a step further, Adobe Spark is a decent tool. That's a mobile editor. If you're old school like me, I use Adobe Premiere to cut up. And then there's a number of AI tools that are out there. There's one called Opus Clip that I've been testing quite a bit. Opus Clip was originated for podcasts, but what it can do is you can insert any YouTube link into it, and it'll scope that YouTube link and it'll create a bunch of different short form cuts. So it can't do graphics for you. I'm not as good with the graphics AI tools right now. I'm still learning them like all of us are. But Elisa's tool gives you 30-second, 15-second cuts. So if all you have to do is put graphics on it after that, it gets you a little bit of the way there. There's one called Lumen I know people use. I haven't dabbled in that one yet. There's a number of them, but the easiest way if you're looking for just get started is Canva is free. I know some of the more premium stuff isn't, but you could load in your fonts, your logos, things like that. And if you're looking to just take video that might exist and cut it and overlay it with the proper text, that would be where I would start for your general videos, just kind of getting going.
It's funny. It's funny you mentioned Canva because we actually had another question that just came in about Canva. Do you have any feedback on using like stock footage that comes with maybe a Canva Pro or any other video editor? Any stock footage recommendations, usage? Don't use it. What do you recommend?
So I have a rule about stock image with still imagery, and I usually say to not use it with still imagery, but video, when you have kind of that video stock, I think you can make this work. So if you do have like some video stock of like classrooms, you could have something of like a school background. I know it may not even be your institution, but I kind of know some of the stuff that exists out there where it's kind of generic enough to make it work. You can take that, just make sure you brand it. So you look at these videos here today, they have the school logos, they have the text, they're actionable. So I think it can be done. You just have to be clever in how you're branding it. You're being conversational and you're making it actionable. If it's just straight stock footage, I wouldn't run that unless there's something specific on it that makes it yours.
Perfect. Appreciate that. Appreciate the great conversation and really detailed explanation of all of this content. I know everyone here is probably going to rewatch this recording to review some of the stats and recommendations you had earlier and walk through the examples that you shared. So I really appreciate that. Andy, as we depart, do you have any closing remarks or final words for our audience?
Oh, it's great having you all. I love to speak to the EDU audiences. I know that, hey, we're all got some, everything's a little bit nuanced. I know every program that I've worked on is just slightly different than the last one. It's a slightly different audience. It's a different region. So, I try to be as open-minded as possible with these examples. And I know that, hey, if I give you 10 ideas, if one or two of them could work, my hope is that it could get you to that starting point to get going on video strategy. So if you want to offline and talk more about your specific scenario, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm obviously on it every day working at LinkedIn, so I will respond and take a look at what you have going on, and always happy to help.
Appreciate that. Community, thank you for connecting and participating in this section. Next up, we're actually diving into research with Carnegie's own Dr. Dazzle, SVP of Research, Jared Brickman, as he goes through the 2023 Graduating Seniors Report. Make sure you tag, comment, and share with us at Carnegie HQ. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and wish you the best with the rest of your day.